In conversation with Owen Hill. Owen Hill is the author of three crime novels, two books of short fiction recently collected as a giveaway, and many collections of poetry. He co-annotated and edited The Annotated Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler, Vintage Crime, and co-edited Berkeley Noir, Akashic Books. He was a buyer and event coordinator at Moss Book in Berkeley, California for many years. More recently, he is a junior organizer and negotiator for the Industrial Workers of the World, IWW. And on today's episode of Auto Interview, it's my utmost pleasure, joy, and excitement to offer the show today, Owen Hill. How are you doing today, Owen? Lovely to have you on.
Excellent, and it's so nice to be on. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm very excited too to have you on the show today, to talk about your beautiful and quite remarkable work because you've expanded on different genres from short fiction to writing crime novels to poetry collection. How fantastically beautiful. I'm excited. We are here to sit and talk about it. So thank you once again for coming on, really.
You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. So, Howard, I need to first say that I particularly, like I mentioned initially, love your body of literature work and how beautiful you've explored different genres, ranging from one to another. How so beautifully you spread your wings in this literature genre, which I think it's quite beautiful compared to staying and fixing oneself in one particular category. But then I'd like us to start today's conversation with your the giveaway, the clear backbone story. I would like to ask you what inspired, what led you to taking this journey to writing the giveaway, and what sparked the creative idea for the story.
Sure. This was written over 25 years, so there have been of the three novels. There are different inspirations, I suppose. But originally, it was done because I am a huge mystery and crime fiction fan, and
Mm.
had been writing poetry for many years. But I just wanted to try it, and it was done like that, with a sense of fun to see if I could do it. Also, I happened to live in a building in Berkeley, California, was named the Chandler Apartments, and I thought if I'm going to be in the Chandler Apartments, I better try to write a mystery novel.
I think that's an amazing inspiration towards the making of a writer. That's a beautiful start. That's quite beautiful to know. And I wanted to ask you because Claire Blackburn is such an unusual detective. He is a poet, politically engaged, and constantly caught between words. Now, where did you come from, and how much of Owen Hill's lives in Clay, lives in this amazing made work? I would like to start from there, first of all, yeah?
Yes. Well, it is in a way semi-autobiographical. I don't
Mm.
solve crimes, but I do write poetry, and I did live in the Chandler Apartments. Um, but it's often like that. If you write fiction, you want to put yourself into it.
Mm.
I just made myself a little more heroic and more apt to be involved in violent situations. Thank goodness I'm not really. Um, but it's about a poet and a book scout, someone who goes and finds books and sells them to bookstores, which is something I have done also. Um, and the book business plays a part in it, and that was how I made a living for many years.
Wow. That's quite exceptional to know, really. And I'd like you to show the book to the camera if you have a copy of the giveaway there with you.
Of course. Is this showing up nicely?
Yeah, that's a beautiful cover. So, would you like to talk about the making of the cover? Why did you have to use a window in there? Does that have any sort of significance or connection to the actual story in the book?
The building,
Yeah.
or yeah, that is actually the Chandler Apartments where I lived,
Wow.
and of course it's the title of the first installment. Um, So it starts with that, and the cover design is beautiful. My
Yeah.
publisher, PM Press, is they just do such fine work, and yeah, I'm very happy with the cover. Very happy with the publisher.
Oh wow, that's amazing as well. That's quite beautiful to know. And you know, Owen, your books blend Noah with humor, with poetry, and fantastically, politics. Now, I wanted to ask you, how do you balance all those tones and still keep readers grounded in a mystery? I would like your answer to that.
I think most genre writing, whether it's science fiction or mystery, it's kind of an extended metaphor.
Mm,
Um, there's always a kind of underlining of meaning, and you hang a good story, hopefully, so that people can enjoy themselves. And under it, you tell them what you really want to tell them.
mm,
And the mystery worked very well for me to do that. Hopefully, it's fast paced, and you get to have a good time. But I have strong political feelings that I inject into it, hopefully with humor, because humor is kind of what moves a good book along. If you can smile and not be too pained,
yeah.
then painful parts you can digest them and hopefully feel them.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you mentioned that it's an extended metaphors. I think that's so beautiful. And I can imagine someone like you who is a poet and also a storyteller, because I'm currently reading a book and it's just so poetic in nature. I had to stop halfway and ask the author, you're so poetic in your style of writing, the use of metaphors. We writers love words, and we love it when words are so coined beautifully in text that is meant to be an actual story. So I can imagine you using the word extended metaphors. That sounds like something that's going to be very fun and beautiful to read, really.
I wrote poetry for a long time before I wrote stories, and I know you're a poet too. So um, that's one of the tools that we have is the metaphor, along with a feeling for the rhythm of language and all those other things.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I was really comfortable with genre writing because that's metaphor also. And good genre writing has a bit of poetry in it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your answer to that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And Owen, your crime writing always feels like it's doing more than just solving a mystery. It digs so deeply into politics, into issue of identity and community so profoundly. Now, how do you see, what perception, in what angle, in what lenses do you see crime fiction as a way to explore bigger social issues? I would love your take on this.
No, I certainly do. Along with the arts in general, it's a way to get a little deeper into social issues, but also psychology. And you mentioned community.
Yeah.
This came out of my life in Berkeley, California, which is famous for its political activism.
Mm,
So I could use my experience living in and actually really loving that town, and the people in it. So I could make fun of them, but I could also show respect for them for being sort of politically on the forefront, at least in America.
mm,
I mean, I don't know how well known Berkeley is outside of the states, but it has a reputation here.
yeah, it does. That's a beautiful one as well. Thank you. I mean, I've been enjoying your answers to these questions, really. Quite beautiful and quite awesome. Thank you very much. Now, I wanted to ask you because you've done extensive research on Raymond Chandler and you've co-edited the annotated Big Sleep. Now, how has that work influenced the way you approach your own writing, your own storytelling, especially with a character like Cleo Blackburn? I'm just curious.
Sometimes an uneasy relationship because I spent 5 years with my annotating team on Raymond Chandler, and he was one of the greatest writers, whether it's mysteries or not. So as I wrote Clay Blackburn, I had to be careful not to copy too much. Kind of take the essence of a detective novel, but we're all people who write detective novels are all kind of under Chandler, who's way up in the way up in heaven somewhere.
That's
Uh,
true.
you, you- yeah, I would write something and think, oh God, Raymond Chandler's going to roll over in his grave every day from this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Although, but that was a wonderful project to be
Mm,
able to see his papers and his notebooks and annotate that beautiful novel.
mm.
It was really important to me, and actually, it got me to England because many of his papers are in Oxford, and his last biographer is in
Wow,
London. It was just a great project to work on.
wow. That's an amazing one, really. And that's quite beautiful to know about extension here to England. Quite amazing, really. Thank you. And I wanted to go ahead and kind of diversify a little bit into the conversation of books, readers, and feedback. Because one of the things that intrigue me most as a writer and also as a reader is to sit back, fold my hands, grab a cup of coffee, and listen to readers' feedback. And you want to agree with me that one of the things that makes literature to be quite complex and a bit stylishly difficult is the fact that it can be interpreted in different ways by different readers based on their opinion. And as somebody like you has written even in the most beautifully amazing genre that is quite argumentative, I'll say, have you ever encountered any sort of feedbacks and reviews that looks a bit quite different from what you actually intended as a writer, if in any way?
I have, and I especially encounter it if I'm doing book readings or book signings, because
Yeah.
people will tell me what they feel about the book, and I'll think, is that the same book? It's really, and this is one of the great things and one of the problems of publishing is that it's
Hmm.
out of our hands. Once it belongs to the reader, it belongs in the reader's head, and the
Hmm.
reader can do whatever
I
they
want
want with
to.
it. And
Absolutely.
this can be difficult. It's why we get a little nervous before we publish, right?
Hmm.
Because we don't know where it's going to go.
Hmm.
But that's also very exciting. I don't mind when people misinterpret, because to them they're not misinterpreting; they're interpreting with their
Yeah.
brain. Flattered. I mean, wow, you took the time to read that book. I had someone years ago. I did a book signing in Texas, and someone was arguing with me about, no, you didn't mean that. And finally, I said, okay, if you think I didn't mean that, then I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that makes book conversation and book club meetings to be quite fun. This stands whereby five people or six or seven or 10 people come together to sit around the table and talk about a book of the month. And you sit back and listen to the first person review, differ slightly from that of the second person, to that of the third person, and on and on and on. And everybody keeps sharing their own opinion. And sometimes it got me wondering, sorry, did you read the same book that we're talking about? Because I didn't see that. Somebody else would spot out something else. And it's so beautiful, really, how we get to see this different feedbacks, different point of view. And I think one of the things I think quite apply to literature is the fact that readers tend to interpret a work based on how much of themselves they can see in the characters, how much of themselves they can see in the writing. I think that's one of the things that makes it to be quite influential, and you have different opinion. Some could even pick up a fight with you over something because of a character or what you did to a particular character. It's
Yeah, that's true.
amazing.
It's true. I mean, if a book is working and it's good writing, they will kind of embody one of the characters and think of themselves as that character. And
Yeah.
that's one of the great things about art. You throw yourself into it and get
Mhm.
outside yourself, and it's important to know how to do that. And
Absolutely.
I value any serious reader, whether they
Mm,
misinterpret or interpret it
uh-huh.
differently or not.
I think that's most important. Thank you for sharing. And just in case, apart from the books we've mentioned so far, do you have any other works that you've authored or say currently working on?
I do have a book of poetry that's just came out in the last few months. May I show it?
Yeah, that'd be
I,
great. Let's see.
it's
Oh, wow.
Poison Begets Poison, and beautiful cover
Mm,
by an artist, Liz Ledger, who lives here. And
yeah.
small press in Brooklyn did it.
Wow.
I sort of write while I'm writing mysteries. I sort of I'll toss off a poem in my notebook,
Mm. Oh, wow.
and
I love that.
by the end of a novel, I have a little bit of a book of poetry. So that was
Mm.
it.
Oh, that's a lovely style. That's a beautiful one, really. Oh, such an amazing one. That's a lovely style, I think. Thank you for sharing. I think I caught something in there that I may want to utilize in my future project.
Uh,
Thank you. And I wanted to ask you too, as a published author, especially one that is quite established, do you have any sort of advice for upcoming writers, for those who are looking forward to publishing a book? What best advice would you give people or someone in this category?
the first advice is read a lot and look at other. If you're looking to publish something, look at other publishers. It's not. It's a very difficult time to make a living as a writer, but it's a
Yeah,
very good time to publish
yeah,
because there's uh, the actual printing is inexpensive. So if someone wants to self-publish, that's a great way to go.
yeah.
There are lots of small publishers. The large publishers are actually, I think, less relevant now. Not that I
Mm,
wouldn't love to. I did publish with one large publisher, and I like that too. But
mm,
the small presses are just alive, and you talked about book clubs. If you publish your own book, you can
yeah,
set up a book to a book club. Um, if depending on your expectations, I think this is a very exciting time to be a writer.
yeah,
It's just a very hard time to make a living as a writer.
yeah, that's true. That's an amazing one, really. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, really. And just in case we have some viewers who are watching this interview and would love to get a copy of the giveaway, the Clay Blackburn story on Amazon, on what platform are they available on for purchase?
It's in the states. It's distributed by something called Publishers Group West, which means it's
Oh,
really easy to find. It's on Amazon and bookshop.org and
mm,
my publisher pmpress.org. It's easy to find here. I've noticed that it's listed around the UK at by bookshop many sites. So
oh,
I'm really happy with the distribution. I don't think they will have people will have a problem getting a copy.
that's great. And I left a link in the description part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Owen Hill book directly on Amazon, on Barnes& and Nobles, on Book Chapter, on his website, and also on other platforms. I also left link to his social media pages for possible followings. So I want to say thank you very much, Owen, for coming on the show to have this beautiful conversation around your amazing body of literature work. I do love the sound of the giveaway and your other titles quite beautifully. So I want to say thank you once again for coming on.
And thank you for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure as well.